Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to stand here before you. My son is in the audience somewhere, Jack. And as Martha told a little anecdote about her son, I'm going to tell you one about him. When he was in year 6, I was invited to go into his school as a VIP to give a talk to his class about the law. And I was going to run a little mock trial exercise. And as I drove to school to drop him off, and I was going to join him in the classroom shortly, I turned, and in his seat, he was sort of curled up, almost in a ball, looking dejected and despondent. And I said, "Oh my gosh, Jack, what's wrong?" And he said, "What you don't understand, Mum, is this is a walk of shame for me." So I think probably right at this moment, this is even more of a walk of shame for him. I just briefly want to say thank you to the people who have walked the path to silk with me. I think someone said that it takes a community to bring up a child. Well, it takes an even bigger community to support someone to take silk. I want to thank my clerks who have been with me every step of the way. They get very little recognition for the work they do, but they are pivotal, and I'm very grateful to them. I want to thank my assessors who were willing to devote time, and it does take a huge amount of time, to write those very long and laborious references for silk. Many of them are here tonight, and I'm really grateful. And I just want to mention one who isn't. Simon Miller was one of my assessors, and as was typical of him, in his most charming and generous way, gave his support to me. And it is just such a shame he's not here tonight to celebrate as well. I also want to thank Deirdre Fottrell. I hope she's also here. Deirdre gives of her time unstintingly and selflessly. I know there's other people here who have taken silk that she's also provided that support to. And she was instrumental in my application, and I'm very grateful to her. I then, of course, want to thank all the solicitors and the people that have shaped my journey from the profession. Obviously, my pupil supervisor, Carol Atkin, is here tonight. Kate Perkis, who's always supported me, sharing a room with her and telling me to sort of get out there, challenge the court, and then giving me a tissue when I came back in tears. And then, of course, I want to also thank particularly my family and my friends. My parents are here tonight. They celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary this time a week ago. As someone said, you get less for life, you get less for murder. And happily, they don't think of it that way. My sister, my Auntie Pat's here, some exceptionally good friends that have always supported me. And I'm grateful in particular to my mother, who always taught me that for a girl growing up, there were no ceilings. I finally want to just thank my husband, Alan, who's here. He's always been a pillar of strength. And again, just to mention and shout out to Jack and his friend Reuben. If you see them, say hello. They'll really hate me for that. Now anyway, enough about me. I want to talk to you about a truly exceptional woman, Martha Cover. When I was reviewing the comments that have been posted about Martha in the Legal 500 and other journals, the words that stood out, and these are quotes: pioneer, icon, and institution. And I think all we agree entirely apt. When I think about Martha, it is a unique combination of characteristics that it's rare to find in one individual. Her compassion, her humanity, her intellectual rigor, her dedication, and her humility. And the latter is so rare in someone of Martha's quality. When I think about Martha, she has so many strands and layers, which is what makes her so exceptional. Obviously, we all see the front of house Martha, the barrister. She was called to the bar in 1979, and I think it's absolutely common ground and uncontroversial that she has had a stellar career and has been one of the most formidable and persuasive advocates, at one time known as the best parent advocate in the country. She has always been at the coalface of family justice, pushing judges, pushing opponents to develop the law to advance the welfare interest of the child always being at the very centre of every argument that she fine-tuned. Martha's stellar career found one of its culminations in her appointment as Legal Aid Barrister of the Year 2018, and then the receipt of an honorary doctorate in 2022 in law from Queen's Mary University of London. And that just simply reflects, really, her accomplishments and the exceptional nature of the career that she has had as a barrister. But the second thing, of course, that Martha always brings is she has been from the outset a deeply committed and passionate advocate for the child. She always wanted to make sure the voice of the child rang true in every case she did. And of course, that was quite properly reflected in her election as the co-chair of that wonderful organisation, the ALC, from 2015 to 2017, and also her appointment as a trustee for NIAS. The third aspect that Martha also brings is she's such a wonderful role model and mentor. She is an inspiration to those that follow in her wake, particularly women. And so while some leaders who've reached the levels of practice and skill and expertise that Martha have pull the ladder up, Martha is far more likely to clamber down with a cup of tea in her hand and offer to help you carry the burden all the way to the top. And that's what makes her so wonderful. I'm grateful to Anne Spratling for reminding me about a wonderful letter that Martha sent to the Times in 2015. At that time, Lord Sumption had published an article in which, quote, he said that a push to increase the gender balance at the top of the judiciary could have appalling consequences for justice. Needless to say, Martha wasn't going to take that line down. So the Times published the following letter. Sir, in 1974, Barbara Calvert QC became the first woman head of Chambers in the Temple. Not known for her patience, she set up 4-brick court with 3 other women. Of course, they soon became known as that monstrous regimen of women. Coram Chambers was founded in 2000 after a merger of 4-brick court with another Chambers. Since 2001, we have produced 6 women circuit judges and a woman master of the Queen's Bench Division, all of them regarded as outstanding members of the judiciary. We think that by giving the judiciary 7 of our best women, we have managed single-handedly to enhance the judicial gene pool and patiently await some sort of recognition from the Ministry of Justice. Meanwhile, I will ask our needlework and embroidery subcommittee to start work on a new thinking cap for Lord Sumption. And that says it all, really, about Martha. But of course, I can't leave my tribute to her without mentioning the 4th wonderful quality, and I leave it to last because it's probably the one that's most important to Martha, and that's that she is a devoted wife, a devoted sister, mother and grandmother. Her husband David is here tonight with their son Carrie and their grandchildren Henry and Iona. Hello to you. There. Hi, Henry. Hi, Iona. Great to see you. Jack didn't wave at me, so I'm really grateful. And of course, her other daughters, Flo and Laura, who are thinking about her tonight. And finally, in closing, when Martha, as in her typical style, sent an email round Chambers entitled "Hanging Up My Wig," lots of tributes were poured forth from members of Chambers, and I think Shiva's here tonight because I thought hers was, as always, particularly well termed. And this is what she said, and I think it just encapsulates everything about Martha. All that has been said by others is true. You are a trailblazer and a role model. But for me, and I think all of us here tonight, the reason you stand out is not for all of your achievements, and there are so many. It is because you care, and you care deeply about social justice, your Chambers family, and all the thousands of people you have represented over the decades. Your care translated into a life of service to all that came into your orbit. Thank you for all you have given. It is only right on this important and auspicious night that the last words spoken this evening are about Martha. So we say to Martha, we thank you for your service. And I think we have a little something for her. Thank you very much. Please continue enjoying yourself.